bloaters, clickers, revolutions, comic books. We are enduring and surviving, and most importantly, we are shedding light on episode 5 of HBO Max's The Last of Us. And the title of that episode is Endure and Survive. How'd you feel about the episode, Joe?
Man, this show keeps raising the bar, and this episode was no different. Probably the best one because of a nice amalgamation of action and story, and some things that were built up last week paid off big time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course, if you haven't seen it, and I don't know why you haven't seen it, it came out earlier than usual. Came out on Friday because, you know, the Super Bowl was going to get in the way, and we didn't want to fight over viewership. You can enjoy your Super Bowl and Rihanna and
her new baby,
and Last of Us without having to choose a side. Yeah, but if you haven't seen it, you should check it out because we're going over it and we will be spoiling things.
Spoilers ahead.
Yes. So there were in this episode, there was a lot of talk about good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is partially responsible for the title. The title is Endure and Survive. And we get this phrase, this catchphrase from a comic book that we see, throughout the episode. But we're seeing that in order to endure and survive, sometimes you make choices, and these choices aren't always positive ones. These aren't the ones that leave the best legacies behind, possibly.
Yeah.
And a good introduction to that was the introduction to the episode. You talked about the action, and as soon as the episode began, we get a flashback looking into the revolution of Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You know, the people of Kansas City taking the city back from Fedra. That was nasty, Joe.
Take it. No, we ain't gonna. Yeah, that was crazy.
It was nasty. You know, we got a taste of it last week. You know, we know that Fedra was up to no good. We know that Fedra was up to some of the worst behaviors. You know, they were killing people, abusing people, and when the people took the city back, I think it's Henry who says it to Joel. He's like, you know what happens when these people do all these things to you? You know, the people, you know, after some time, we'll do it back.
Yep.
You know, and it happens right back to you. And maybe they got it worse. I don't know. But the people who were imprisoned in Kansas City, I don't think they came out after getting their freedom back. I don't think they came out the same. They've been changed by not just the times, but by their oppressors. Innocence is gone.
Yes.
What did you think, man? Looking at some of the atrocities of the of Kansas City.
It's more or less what I would expect. I mean, I've watched, and I'm sure you have too, our society unravel when COVID hit and people fought each other to the death for toilet paper. So for sure, if some real shit hit the fan, if we're actually going to get a real alien invasion, if you've been watching the balloons that have been floating all over the United States, Canada, China, and other places in South America, you know, people will freak out and they'll point their guns at each other and go, I want that toilet paper. So
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Did you trust Henry going in?
No, I didn't know what was going on with Henry. I mean, now let's be real. I didn't play much of the game.
Right.
We're already beyond where I got up to. So, you know, I'm going into this with the same eyes that you are at this point. So at first I'm always suspicious. And I'm like, okay, because I've had a lot of years, literally, watching The Walking Dead. So I know, okay, some people are really crazy and some people are deceitful. So I was thinking maybe he would be one of those more deceitful folks. But, you know, much to my surprise and delight, he was a good dude.
He was a good dude, at least for Joel.
Yeah, for Joel. Yeah.
But they both had the same goals.
Right.
which is escape. Ellie, I don't know, maybe it's Sam's presence, the younger brother. But Ellie seems a little more welcoming, a little more open to the possibility of working with Sam and Henry.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because having another child there makes it more trusting, or if Ellie is just inexperienced and naive, or a little bit of both.
Could be.
Because when the gun's pointed on him and Henry goes and says, I didn't hurt you, you don't hurt me, I'm gonna load this gun. Like he didn't plan beyond this. Like he goes and says, it's like, look, I don't know what happens next. So I'm gonna put the gun down. Let's not hurt each other. Cool?
Cool.
It's cool. And you could hear even in Joel's voice, he's not as warm, I guess, as Ellie is. Ellie says he always sounds like an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find is there a positive way to react to having a gun in your face when you wake up?
No. There's just no way that's going to work out, man. You get a gun in my face, it's going to be all right. I'll get you. If you don't shoot me.
This is how we're, I guess, being reintroduced, because our introduction to Henry and Sam was at the very end of the last episode, just them pointing the guns, and we get the keep your mouth shut, shush, the finger of silence.
Yeah.
But we get a little more backstory. We find out a little more about these two escaping, because as the city of Kansas City returns to the people, they don't want anybody hiding. They don't want anybody, even before they were hunting for collaborators. I think they were shouting out, is like, if you were hiding, you're going to be tried. Like they want everybody just out in the open so they can decide who's, what side you're on.
Right.
We find out that Henry, he's a collaborator, and everyone's looking for the collaborators right now. And Melanie Lynskey, I'm sorry, she is playing. She's out here, and she is looking for Henry because Henry killed her brother, right. And so she's got all these people here. And she's calling them all rats, telling them that they're going to get a fair trial as they look for Henry.
And she yoinked some people.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you know where Henry's at? No.
You know what's cool, though? Right. She does so good playing this role, though.
Yeah, but she does so good.
She's so
way. It's like
that her second, her second hand, her hand to the king, her right hand man.
Right.
Goes and says, are we really trying these people?
Yeah.
She's like, no.
We're all getting offed.
It's off them and then burn them.
Yeah. She was brutal woman.
There's a lot of parallels between all the leadership here. Kathleen, again, played by Melanie Lynskey. She has a conversation about leadership and what her brother would think of her. And seeing her in this leadership role now. And she goes and says that, I don't think my brother would be happy with the decisions I've made. Right. Percy has been her number 2. Percy goes and says, we're not following him. We're following you. Your brother was kind. Your brother was great. But your brother didn't make the changes that led to this revolution. You did. We're following you. And it's a great mirror compared to Henry. Henry goes and says, even though he's the person we're following, Henry goes and says that I'm not a good person. He even asked Joel, he's like, am I a bad guy? He led to, he's responsible for Kathleen's brother's death, who is a great man, but all for some pills to get to help fight the leukemia that Sam has.
Right.
And it's like, what wouldn't you do for family, Joe?
Yeah, no, I would do the same shit, man. It's like, I need to get those meds, so I'm gonna go hide in the walls like a rat and sneak around and do the shit because I know I can't. I'm one dude against the army, so I know I got, the numbers game is not in my favor. The odds are not in my favor, so I got to do on the down low and ninja assassin them.
Yeah, it's tough because like I could see, like, if it was me, of course but it's a question that we hear later on from Kathleen, as when shit hits the fan. It's like, it's one child, one person versus one versus the needs of the few versus the needs of the many, or the needs of the one in this case.
Right. Very good. You got it.
And there's
many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Yeah, it's rough because of course I'm rooting for Joel, and so I'm rooting for Henry, and Henry knows he's made some really tough choices. In fact, that's the reason why he's our character spotlight today.
All right.
Yeah. Henry's played by Lamar Johnson. He is the older brother to Sam. It is really interesting the role he plays, because as a viewer, you have to wonder if he could trust him. Pedro Pascal says, "I don't work with rats."
Right.
And Henry's like, "Today you do." Was there a point in the show where you found yourself, when you made the switch, where you were able to trust them?
Oh yeah. It was early on too, because when she started looking for, like, when you found out, okay, put two and two together, they're after Henry. Why are they after Henry? And then when you see he's looking after his little brother, it was like, okay. And his little brother's disabled. So imagine, end of the world, and you can't speak, and he's probably deaf. So it's like, oh yeah, okay. So he's doing what he can to help his little brother. I get it. Nah,
I can't help but feel that, how am I supposed to trust you when you have even if I like you, how can I trust you if you've already turned on somebody who you yourself called a great guy?
Yeah.
That's what made it hard for me to trust him. And like, more than it's like, all right, cool, maybe we can get past the gun in the face. And it's like, every time they seem to bond or grow closer together, Henry would bring up some old shit he did. It's like, Henry, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Keep some of this shit to yourself.
my man, chill.
Well, I couldn't get past. It's like, why do you keep saying these things?
Yeah, you're not.
Why do you keep talking about all the bad shit you did?
You're digging a hole. You keep putting yourself further in.
Like, first he said he was a collaborator, but then he said, I ain't never killed nobody. Then later on, he goes and says, all right, I wasn't exactly telling the truth when I said I ain't killed nobody.
I killed a lot of people. They deserve it.
I may not have pulled the trigger, but I gave this man up to die.
Mm-hmm.
So I killed somebody. He's a very compelling and interesting character.
Yeah.
Who was, like everybody else in this timeline, put through a lot of shit.
Right.
He comes up with the idea of escaping through the tunnels. And even then, I couldn't trust him. I think Joel couldn't trust him either, because it's because the tunnel, everything was a hunch.
Yeah.
Everything was a hunch. We get there, and I think the only thing that made this comfortable was Ellie and Sam's relationship. Ellie and Sam, they were bonding over soccer. They were bonding over comic books. They were bonding just being able to be kids and we don't get to see that in this world very often.
Right.
Bonding over the superhero, and they're painting pictures together, and they were reading this book together through times of strife. Joe, what comic book would you find in the apocalypse? What comic book would be the one to get you through this apocalypse?
Probably Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Tell me why. Tell me why Kingdom Come would be the book.
I was always fascinated by the aged heroes, and especially, it's the apocalypse, so this is it, And of course, you had a good ending, and everything comes together quite nicely in a bow, which is what one of the brighter things about DC is, though you had dark times, you also had the light. Everything kind of smoothed out, and there's always a happy ending, and that's something that I like, because reality is not happy endings in every scenario. So in order for me to have like a possibility and hope, I would turn to a DC comic like Kingdom Come.
Okie dokie. Cool. I think I might lend myself towards the same way. I'm not sure if I would get Kingdom Come. For me, that was a very dreary comic book.
Yeah, I liked it. It was ended really nice though. It was like,
oh man, I think I need something a little more positive for me.
Oh wow. And what would it be for you then?
I think it might just be straight up some Superman comics. I'll keep it DC.
Oh,
but like, I need my beacon of hope. I need Clark to save the day.
Yeah.
It was either going to be that or Spider-Man, but Spider-Man gets a little soap opera-ish.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's life is terrible.
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
Peter
Parker luck, man.
If you're going to be Peter Parker, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. And I need more than that. I need some Smallville. I need Clark Kent to let me know everything's going to be okay. I need that red cape.
Yeah.
That's going to be the book to get me through.
Dun, 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 dun.
He's no Super Sam, though.
No.
He's no Super Sam. I really enjoyed seeing the bonding moments, seeing him with the paint over his eyes. Look at him. That's our hero right there, man.
Yeah. He reminded me of in the Sandman show.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember there was a lot of like parallels with that character. It was like, oh,
Yes, cool. Absolutely. Sam's really cool. It's always great to see representation.
Yeah.
But I think it's wonderful being able to see how all the actors work together. It's not just communicating through ASL, but being, just watching him perform in this world.
N-O. That's the only, because I knew somebody that signed language. That's all I picked up.
I can't sign at all, so kudos to you.
Yay!
But the watching him perform, I mean, I could have made this character spotlight about him, because he was still in the show plenty of times, watching him and his relationship with his brother, his relationship with Ellie. And then he gets a really big moment towards the end that we'll talk about a little later.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing these bonding moments where they get to be children, it always pains me, because there are these beautiful moments that The Last of Us always seems to snatch away from me.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, here's some nice shit. Here's some nice shit. All right, now give me that.
Yeah.
And that's really something that I've come to expect from The Last of Us. It's like they just like breaking my heart.
Yeah.
But that heartbreak came with, or should I say, before the heartbreak came, more action.
Ooh.
A lot more action, Joe.
That's right.
Because they think they make the clean escape.
Mm-hmm.
And they were wrong. Shots firing.
Yep.
We got people ducking behind cars.
That's right.
There's a sniper in what looks like a haunted house. Like, it was just
all
the houses look.
Yeah, everybody's dead or zombified or whatever,
Oh man. And it's funny. You know how in Star Wars we talk about how the stormtroopers always miss?
Yeah.
And that's not just like a Star Wars trope. We always expect the bad guys to just kind of miss their target all the time.
Right.
And I think Joel has been the first character I've ever seen that referred to somebody as having bad aim.
Yeah, true.
It's like, you guys should trust me. I'm gonna go. You stay here. This guy's got bad aim. It's like, oh wow, we're just commenting on his inability to hit you
straight off the bat. Yeah, he ain't gonna hit me. I'm good.
It's like
the titles, kids. Don't worry.
That was like breaking the fourth wall, like without having to literally like look right at the camera and.
Right. Don't worry, they have the bad aim.
It's like, yeah, he has the bad aim. But even that moment was tough, man. Even watching Joel go through this, he didn't want to kill. He's getting soft.
Yeah.
Like he used to. I didn't think he would hesitate, but he just told him, is like, put the gun, give me the gun, and just be still.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes. You ain't seen nothing, and we'll pass and we'll get through.
Right.
And you can see him looking at the guns like, don't do it, please don't. And then we just hear the shot. We don't even see it. We just hear the shot. And that's kind of become part of the mystique of the show. A lot of the deaths happen off screen. Well, we're left to our imagination.
Yeah.
And it seems, it was pointed out to me that a lot of the most violent scenes that we actually do get to see, it's only visible to us when it's visible to Ellie. Joel beating up the cop, like we saw that because Ellie saw that. And then some of the action that we saw in the following scene, when the entire town of Kansas City comes looking for two children, and come looking for Joel and come looking for Henry Ellie. And Sam and Ellie. Yeah. Oh my goodness, the scene, the trucks.
Yo, yeah, when it was like a squad, I was like, where all these people come from? I don't even remember there being that many people alive,
Look, getting Henry was the number one priority.
Yeah.
Right? The number one priority. So they sent everybody.
Look at that. Literally. All them guns, all them lights. She's standing there like, yep, they're going to get him.
It was a sick moment. The only thing saving Ellie was Joel still in the house with the sniper rifle, just picking off people.
Yeah.
And even though he was saving Ellie in this moment, he also led to this entire town's demise.
Yeah.
We did learn earlier in the episode that there were basically all the infected were dumped into some tunnels. Mm-hmm. Like they just kept everybody submerged. We also saw last week that there were some sinkholes forming, and we saw the pulsating ground.
Yep.
And the infected are dying to get out.
They don't like.
They're already dead.
Yeah.
So when the truck, one of the trucks, the driver gets hit, there's a big crash. I guess it leads to the earth opening up, and all of the infected of the city start crawling out in one of the biggest zombie horde scenes I had ever seen.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Oh my God, zombies everywhere. And then we get our introduction to the bloater.
Dude.
Look at that guy, big saggy belly.
Yeah.
He's got fungus all over him, protecting him from bullets.
Yeah.
And this was the shot. Like, I'm glad you got this picture up, because this was the shot that was in all the trailers.
Yeah.
Like, we all knew this bad boy was coming.
At some point, this thing was going to come out. Yeah.
How did you feel about him when he finally got to?
Oh, I was all in. I was like, I knew something big would have to come out, especially because like it panned back all of a sudden, and it was like a bruh. It's like, oh, shit, here we go. And then that thing crawled out, and I was like, oh, I wonder how, is it like just a half a body and he's still crawling? And then it was like a whole dude. I was like, oh, y'all motherfuckers in trouble. So it was exciting. I was super excited for that.
How about the moment with him and Percy?
Yeah. Great.
No. What's it called?
The Rip.
He's telling he told Kathleen to run. He's like, run, I've got this. You've got to live.
Yeah.
Sends it a run, and then like
Iron.
5 seconds later, his head gets ripped off.
Ripped off. A great pop.
Oh my goodness. It's so super easy.
Yeah. Barely an
Yeah.
inconvenience.
It's really
It's like breaking up one of them Barbie dolls.
sorry, Mr. Ryan George. We're sorry. But that's just how I speak now. He did that to me.
Yeah, I know.
So the bloater goes, rips his head off, and that could have been the gross out moment of the week.
No,
but it's not.
No.
Joe set us up with the grossest moment of the week.
So when you have creepiness and then you add children into the mix, it takes it another level. And they said, hey, you know what would be really creepy and gross? If we put all that gross ass makeup on a child. And boy, did they. Here we go. In the car. Oh, just all in her face. Poor little kid.
She was so fast.
She was so fast. It was like,
So
oh
fast.
no, you ain't getting away.
Just and looking at her little mushroom head off like the side of the head.
Yeah,
it was like I think
like
that's really what was doing it for me. It's just oh my god. I don't know why she was grosser to me than the bloater. She just was. Maybe it was her movements.
That didn't help. Like she came in there backwards, like Exorcist style.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Just everything she did was just like pissing me off. It was setting off all of the internal alarms in my body.
Yeah. And I was like, little girl, run. No, not that one.
Yeah, it's just it was a sick moment. And this was the next biggest threat to Ellie.
Yeah.
Because, when you had soldiers, you had all these clickers, you got all these infected around, and it seemed like she was able to escape into this tiny ass car. And once she got into the tiny car, and this little mushroom girl just squeezes into the, oh my god, I was scared.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I know there's gonna be more episodes. I know Ellie ain't going anywhere.
No, she's at
least I hope not.
No, she's getting the sequel.
Yeah. Come on, baby. Season 2 is on the way.
Yeah.
And I still found myself legitimately worried.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
Our heroes do manage to escape this predicament due to some well-timed bullets. But there's still just like more to come. Before the heroes escape, there's this final confrontation between Joel and Kathleen and Henry, and we question the leadership of Kathleen, who, after shooting the doctor, maybe we wondered about her leadership abilities. Was she really focused on the right things?
Definitely not.
And you could see that even in this moment where she knows she has to escape, instead of focusing on life and maybe, I'm not saying she has to forgive Henry, but like, let it go. Save your own ass.
Yeah, exactly. Like she literally had a gun pointed at my man, and all people is that she saw her homeboy get his head popped right off like a doll, and she's still like, all right, I got you. It's like, man, please.
And the only person who got got in this situation was Kathleen.
Yep.
And that was another fun moment for me. I don't know. I was laughing.
Like, you got it. You was too busy pushing, and then you got pushed.
We find some more somber moments later. There's an empty hotel.
Yeah.
That Joel, Henry, Sam, and Ellie find themselves in. Mm-hmm. And there's more of this bonding and more of this conversation happening between Sam and Ellie. Sam has asked if the people who become infected, are they still themselves afterwards?
Nah.
And I feel like, I don't know if I've ever thought about that in other zombie stories. Mm-hmm. It's not that new a concept.
No.
Because
I mean, even the governor kept his daughter's head you know, just
Right, right, right.
maybe, you know, but it was
Everyone's had some sort of, Herschel's farm, he kept
right. He
his
kept
dad inside,
yeah,
waiting for a cure to come.
right.
Um, and I guess I found myself reconsidering this question for the first time because I guess with other zombie films, sometimes we see the death. We see the light go out in their eyes. We know their heart stops, and there's a part of me that maybe because I haven't spent enough time with victims of the cordyceps disease,
Yeah.
um, I'm watching them, and it does sometimes feel like even that moment. I think it was in episode 2, might have been episode 3, where Ellie is just like looking at this other clicker and trying to see if there's any sort of humanity left in them before like
Stabbing
jabbing.
him in, yeah, in the head. That was episode 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's moments like that where you got to wonder, or even the slow transformation, like when people become infected, they have like little twitches and things first. At
Right.
what point does the shift happen? And once the shift completes, is there any bit of like, are you in the sunken place? Are you watching it all go down from a perspective behind a body you can't control?
Yeah.
And I was really thinking about it for the first time in a way that I haven't in a long time, if ever at all. Um,
I think they're gone. Like there's no return. Once you get to a certain point and that sprout is all over your face, that's it.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think, once you're gone, you're gone. But there is definitely a moment of where it has to begin to shift. Some sort of in-between state. Because we find out that Sam was scratched or bit, or regardless, he's infected.
Yeah.
His leg was messed up during this whole horde of infected just taking over the city.
Booming out of it, yeah.
Ellie has a lot of hope because she knows that the cure is inside of her. She seems to possess the antibodies. If there is such a thing as a cure that'll be developed from her. And she has hope and gives him hope by saying, my blood is medicine, and tries to cure him.
Right.
She is unsuccessful.
Nope.
We have this terrible moment where, I think Sam's afraid. And he goes and says, will you stay up with me? And Ellie does eventually fall asleep. When she wakes up, Sam is facing the window. And she goes to check on him. And he just lunges immediately.
Crazy.
We get this terrible moment where now this attack is happening right in front of like these two children. It's a life or death situation. And it's happening right in front of their protectors.
Yeah.
And oh my God. And then we have Henry, who's put into a position where he's telling Joel, not to shoot him.
Right.
Something's got to get done. And Henry knows it. And he shoots Sam. He shoots his little brother.
Bang!
Just before shooting himself. What the fuck, Joe?
Word.
Oh, stop it.
I thought that was insane. That like blew my mind because it was like, all right, I know he's not going to make it, but the fact that he hesitated, like he could have eaten Ellie, like, oh my God. With such suspense, such drama.
Man, this was a tough moment. And it was tough for Henry because he takes his own life afterwards.
Yeah, but messed me up.
Yeah, but I talk about that shift because I'm thinking about the last message that we get from Sam. Sam writes on the Etch-a-Sketch, I'm sorry. which means at some point he knew that he was changing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was rough. That was rough because he really made us, but before the change happened, he really asked the question, are we still us? And maybe the answer is no, but there was enough of him left before the full transformation to go and write that and just, oh, all right, like that broke me.
Yeah.
That hurt.
That hurt big time.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, watching every week, checking this stuff out when I know I'm being pain at the end.
Yeah.
I guess I just like that shit.
I guess so. They really got us, like, 'cause each episode gets you in some way, like,
yes.
Yeah, when you said goodbye to Tess, when you said goodbye to the Firefly, when you said, like, especially the love story from the
oh yeah,
oh my god, just constant get you right in the feels.
Let us know in the comments whether you think we are insane for doing this to ourselves every week. You know we're gonna do it again next week.
That's right.
They've already teased some of next week. We saw the little trailers. We know that we will finally be seeing Tommy. I don't know if it's a flashback or if they actually just jump to fucking Wyoming, right. but we will be seeing Tommy. Like that is happening.
Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it next week.
Yeah. I mean, like, you'll see the show, like, without subscribing, but you should probably subscribe and not miss us either.
Yeah.
And we will be back to the live format. Maybe we'll have a guest, maybe we won't. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But you can join us.
Yeah.
In the comments and by sharing, and then other people can comment too. You know, the more
comment your gross moment below. Do you think it was the kid like we did? That was really Let us know.
Let us know what you thought was the nastiest moment of the episode, and what you're looking forward to next week. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I think we're done shedding the light on this. Joe.
Yeah, it's bright.
You ready to turn these lights out?
Let's turn the lights out.
All right. See you next time. Lights out.